Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Let's see. Josiah went crazy, kicking down, knocking over, bashing up, Asherah poles and idols and crap like that.
And Molech altars.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tore shit down.
Yeah, there's no more Baal parties. No.
He was a good boy, but did that change anything in the Lord's eyes?
No, the Lord's still going to punish them.
Yep.
So, yeah,
He
there's
don't
that.
give a
and
fuck.
then now Egypt is getting involved in some politics in Israel.
Yeah.
And Judah and stuff.
Because Josiah got shot or something and
shot.
killed. I mean, with an arrow.
Okay, yeah.
He got shot with an arrow, didn't he?
No, I think so.
Pretty sure
maybe.
he got shot with an arrow.
You could be right.
Yeah.
I don't recall exactly how he died. He definitely died.
And then, one of his sons was king for, 2 days or 2 minutes.
You know what I really enjoy? The fact that whenever they die, they just, it's 1, 2, 3 dead.
Yeah.
They're there's no, fucking around with it.
I do remember they were like, whoa, we didn't see that coming. I mean, we knew he would die eventually, obviously, but, it was
right.
the next sentence.
There's, literally never any lead up
There
to
was
it.
no lead up.
And they're just dude's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
my favorite is still the guy that died in the chair. I don't remember who it was, but it was
oh, he fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could remember who that was.
It was, I
hilarious.
it's on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, I wish I could remember too.
So Josiah's one son, he was only king for 2 seconds, and then Egypt put him in jail.
Right, and they placed in the other person.
With the other son.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's trash.
Right, yeah, he's doing bad in God's eyes.
Yep. Joaquin, that's his name.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 2 Kings chapter 23.
Indeed it was.
And today we're going to be reading
2 Kings chapter 24.
Let's do this.
Okie dokie.
Hey, wife.
Yes, husband.
Did you know that we are now on Patreon?
Yes, because you told me, but also, no, tell me more.
So we're on Patreon now.
Are we?
We are, and our supporters can go there and support us, and we have multiple levels all the way up to You Killed God.
That sounds really drastic and escalated quickly-ish.
Well, no, there's multiple levels before there, so it escalates on a sliding scale of, cheap to not cheap.
Oh.
But, we can definitely use any amount, so, any support is always appreciated.
So, what exactly is Patreon?
It's a place where you can show your support for our podcast. And
just our podcast?
Any podcast or any performer. But, we're the ones that, you're listening to right now. So maybe you should, support us. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But we love you anyway.
So all you got to do is go to Patreon, look up Sacrilegious Discourse. It's actually patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse is our actual main page there. So head on over and send us some love.
Yeah. Okay, 2 Kings chapter 24.
Okay.
During Joachim's reign, King Nebuchadnezzar...
Oh, I know that guy. I've heard of him.
Yeah, do you know why?
Well, I know Nebuchadnezzar because of The Matrix.
Yeah.
But, I guess probably that's why I know him. Uh-huh. But he's famous, though, right?
That's where most people...
Is he famous because of that, or...?
Well, it was a name that we might have heard, but The Matrix made it common vernacular.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. It was the name of the ship.
Right. No, I remember.
Just to be clear.
I remember.
Okay. So, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon invaded the land of Judah.
Okay.
Joachim surrendered and paid him tribute for 3 years, but then rebelled. Then the Lord sent bands of Babylonian, Aramaean, Moabite, and Ammonite raiders against Judah to destroy it, just as the Lord had promised through his prophets. Because the Lord is a vengeful
the Lord sent
dick.
these people against him?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Because he's a son of a bitch.
And Egypt put this guy in power, and they're not backing him at all.
No.
They're just like, have fun over there.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Best wishes.
Right? Don't let him through to our place.
See ya when wanna be ya. Sucks to suck, my guy. These disasters happened to Judah because of the Lord's command.
That's why.
He had decided to banish Judah from his presence because of the many sins of Manasseh, who had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood. So,
wow.
I'm going to fill the streets with more innocent blood.
But he didn't decide to save them because of, was it Josiah that was good? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, he didn't decide to save them because of the good people.
All punish, no reward.
I'm going to punish from way back when and now, but not worry about anything that good happened between then and now.
All stick, no carrot.
Right.
God is
and
a
also,
dick.
I'm going to wait forever to punish. Like, I don't punish in the moment.
No, willy-nilly.
I wait until just, whenever I feel like it. At some point later because it's convenient for history.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
We talked about, like, that whole kick the can down the road punishment.
Right.
Being very important to the societal structure.
Yeah.
But just reading this, like, straight off the page with no reading between the lines and, parable understanding.
Right.
Just reading it straight as is, God's a dick. And I hate this book.
No, it's,
The Lord would not forgive this. Yeah, well, forgive this, bitch.
Right.
The rest of the events in Joachim's reign and all his deeds are recorded in that fucking book. When Joachim died, his son Joachim...
What?
Wait. When Joachim died, his son Joachim...
Oh my god.
Became the next king.
These people need to get more fucking original with their goddamn names.
Right?
This is stupid.
I mean...
Like...
It is. But let's be honest, it's like George Foreman the 100th or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're trying to learn, like, timelines and history and stuff, like, when they've got basically the same fucking name, you're like, wait, what one? Which one were we talking about again?
Yeah.
And there's so much of that.
Like, I'm just gonna call him Gerald, when I rewrite this shit.
Right?
Gerald.
Yeah.
The king of Egypt did not venture out of his country after that. Oh, okay.
Oh, because we care. All of a sudden, we care about Egypt for some reason.
Well, because they had stuck their nose in. Remember?
No, I know.
In the intro, you were just like, and they
but
were
like, they didn't
whatever.
really explain why Egypt is coming in all of a sudden.
I don't think it was all of a sudden. I think that they were probably always in and out, and there were just like we're not hearing Egypt's history in this, so I'm sure that when I get there. Asimov will cover what was happening in Egypt at the time, but I'm sure they had their own upheavals happening.
If we had like all the time in the world, I would actually be curious as to like what the history of Egypt says at this time that corresponds, because Egypt is a well-known, meticulous history keeper.
Right.
So I would be very curious how this matches up with actual history.
I'm betting that Asimov hits that.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
But I'm thinking that it didn't come out of the blue. It was standard knowledge at the time that they just didn't cover because everybody was supposed to already know about it, that they were in and out.
Yeah.
And this was just like a big enough deal that they recorded it for posterity or whatever.
Right.
So that's just my guess.
Sure.
But apparently the king of Egypt did not venture out of his country after that, for the king of Babylon captured the entire area formerly claimed by Egypt.
Oh.
From the Brook of Egypt to the Euphrates fucking river.
Damn.
Yeah.
So like Egypt had their moment in the sun, and then the king of Babylon was like, "Fuck you, I'm in there now."
They got their hands slapped and they backed off.
And Judah and Israel are like, "What's going on?"
They're getting swept.
Right? Yeah.
They're in the sweeper currently.
Yeah. But it's just convenient, like these guys are conquering, and all of a sudden it's God's doing.
Yeah.
Not people conquer. Because that never happened back then.
They never get credit.
Right?
Like maybe they were just strong.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted to fucking conquer.
Or how about this? Maybe their gods were better.
I mean, I'm just...
Sounds to me like...
If we're going with the idea of gods, it sounds like theirs are better.
Yeah. At least they were that day.
Right? And I bet they were mocking these people's gods, too. And this god sat there and took it. He was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't defeat them today because I got to sweep them.
Yeah.
Or something.
I'm feeling Benji.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Joachim was 18 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. So another 2-second guy.
Right, yeah.
2 pump chump. His mother was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan. Elnathan.
Oh, damn.
Sorry. There's so many letters and combinations I'm not used to seeing.
Yeah.
And I do have problems with letter combinations that I'm not used to.
Sure.
And I mix them up. So apologies again. But it's Elnathan.
Got it. Elnathan.
She's the daughter of Elnathan from Jerusalem.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
Joachim did what was evil in the Lord's sight, which we already said, just as his father had done. During Joachim's reign, the officers of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came up against Jerusalem and besieged it.
Oh, man. I hate being besieged.
Yeah, same.
Right?
I am sometimes besieged with a longing for ice cream.
Yeah?
Yeah. We haven't had ice cream in a while. Huh?
No?
Besieged.
Okay.
I think I'm going to put ice cream on our shopping list this weekend.
You do that.
I'm besieged with longing for it.
Then after that, you won't be besieged anymore.
Probably will always be besieged.
Oh, okay.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Is there ever enough ice cream?
I don't know.
There's not.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Nebuchadnezzar himself arrived at the city during the siege. Then King Joachim, along with the queen mother, his advisors, his commanders, and his officials, surrendered to the Babylonians.
Okay.
In the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, he took Joachim prisoner.
Okay.
As the Lord had said beforehand, Nebuchadnezzar carried away all the treasures from the Lord's temple and the royal palace. He stripped away all the gold objects that King Solomon of Israel had placed in the temple.
So much for all that remodeling that Josiah did or whatever.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, it was for nothing.
But I thought that shit was already removed multiple times over. It
seems like a lot of it has, yeah.
Yeah.
But they just found the book of laws, so I mean,
That's true.
They missed some bits.
It was in the attic.
Right?
King Nebuchadnezzar took all of Jerusalem captive, including all the commanders and the best of the soldiers, craftsmen and artisans, 10,000 in all.
Damn.
Only the poorest people were left in the land. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Like, we don't need y'all.
Keep working.
Right.
Nebuchadnezzar led King Joachim away as a captive to Babylon, along with the queen mother, his wives, and officials, and all Jerusalem's elite. He also exiled 7,000 of the best troops and 1,000 craftsmen and artisans, all of whom were strong and fit for war. So he didn't kill him, he just sent him away.
I mean, it seems that way, but then again, Joachim only, ruled for 3 months. Well, did it say he died? It didn't say he died after 3 months.
It literally just said that he got pulled away
right.
as a prisoner.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Then the king of Babylon installed Mattaniah, Joachim's uncle, as the next king. Mattaniah sounds very Egyptian in name. To my mind, it does. Mattaniah. But he changed Mattaniah's name to Zedekiah.
Okay.
Because that matters.
I guess so, yeah.
Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 11 years.
Okay.
His mother was Hamutal.
I bet he did what was evil in the Lord's eyes.
The daughter of Jeremiah from Libnah. But Zedekiah did what was evil in the Lord's sight.
Yeah.
Just as Joachim had done. These things happened because of the Lord's anger against the people of Jerusalem and Judah until he finally banished them from his presence and sent them into exile. The fall of Jerusalem... Oh, that's the next...
Oh, okay.
There's one sentence following that. Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. The end.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, okay.
I guess the next time that
we're gonna be
tomorrow,
rebelling
it'll
against
be
the king
fall
of Babylon.
of Jerusalem. It'll be
back to Egypt,
be.
maybe, or maybe they're gonna I mean, like, it's all about either restoring God or taking that God down or getting conquered by other people because of God or whatever. And It just sounds a lot like fucking history to me, that they're just conveniently putting God in where they want him at any given point.
Yeah. If we lost, it's because God was mad at us. If we won, it's because God was so happy with us.
Which is very familiar to me because today, even still, people put God in wherever they feel like putting him in.
Yeah.
And they're like, is it a bad thing? Well, God meant it to happen to teach this person a lesson. Or is it a good thing? Well, it was God's grace that allowed that to happen. Or did nothing happen at all? Well, God will provide an answer in time. You know,
it's not ours to understand.
It's not our, yeah.
We're not meant to know.
Right. I've never understood the constant excuses that people make for God in any given situation.
It's so willy-nilly.
And to me, I'm like, you guys would have an answer for fucking everything that makes no goddamn sense because there is no rhyme or reason to it because there is no fucking God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just get over it and admit that what you believe is a belief.
But
it is a belief and it has no basis in fucking reality.
But they don't think along those lines. I mean, they really don't.
Right.
Like, my favorite example of showing the left, showing Democrats, showing people like us how dumb people and simple people really think is when Jordan Klepper goes to all of these different
it's so painful.
Trump rallies and he talks to people and he will like ask them questions that are so clearly making fun of them or so clearly leading them to hang themselves with the rope of hypocrisy.
Right. And they always still do.
And they don't recognize what they have said.
Right.
Even though he repeats it back to them.
Right.
And so when you say, just admit it, there's nothing for them to admit.
Well, that reminds me of a thing I saw the other day. Somebody, similarly to Jordan Klepper, was interviewing somebody that was at a Trump rally or something. And they said something along the lines of, so this isn't religious in nature, but it goes to the same mentality and the same line of thinking. And they said, okay, so if let's say if you think Hillary committed crime by stealing documents from the government and having these email servers, right? So if Trump was proven that he had stolen documents from the government, would you want the same punishment for him as you would want for Hillary? And the guy actually said, no.
Right.
Like he's
I saw that same thing.
And it was like so. I mean, like if we're on equal ground here, would you want the same? And he said his reasoning was that Trump is a patriot and Hillary is not.
Yeah.
Like it
I
just
I like one. He's
right.
on
I
my
like
team.
one. And that's the only fucking reason.
But you have to understand. Like this is what I think Democrats fail to understand. They're not being horrible when they say that. They're not being liars. They're not being like they're not fooling them. Like they're actually not even being hypocritical because that would indicate that they were aware. Like they legitimately don't realize what they are saying is hypocritical.
No, they truly believe that no matter what Trump does, he's doing it for patriotic reasons and for the good of the country. And they truly believe that Hillary eats babies and is horrible. No matter what. You can't say a good thing about her. There is nothing good about her, period, the end.
If she did a good thing, it was only by coincidence and it is to be discounted.
Right. And ultimately, the only thing that these people care about is installing the people that they are told to install in power into power because that's who they believe is serving their purposes here on this planet.
I was listening to a really great episode. I want to say it was from NPR, and it was about cultism. And this actually kind of gets to that mentality.
Yeah.
These people cannot be pulled back. They cannot. You can't use logic at them because you're not speaking the same language. You're not starting from the same base ground.
Right. Right.
So, I feel like I'm not trying to defend them per se because I certainly have no love lost for these horrible people that are, anti-LGBTQ. They are horrible, racist, crazy people. Okay,
but much of their belief structure is built on propaganda.
Right.
I mean, just...
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to defend them. This is less about changing them and criticizing them and more about getting the left to better understand and admit what they are dealing with here.
Right.
So, like, when you say, and I'm sorry, I know it sounds like I'm trying to argue with you, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but when you say, I wish they would just admit there's no such thing as God, there's nothing for them to admit. That is not something that they are capable of admitting because...
they don't believe it.
They're not lying when they tell you these things. They're not saying mistruths.
No,
they're not being misleading.
I get that. They completely believe these things that they're indoctrinated, brought up to believe, and there's not going to be, unless they decide to make that journey, take that journey for themselves, there is no changing their mind.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And to kudos to those people who do that themselves. You know, like that is
so
difficult,
amazing.
It's a difficult path to walk because there's not many people in your circle at that point that would support it.
Right.
You know,
no, there's
and you
none.
have to literally start completely over with your life, essentially, with your belief structure and how you think, and even your friends and family.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I was just like on the edge of living that life because my parents hadn't like flipped to the dark side yet.
Right.
When I discovered that, like, oh, I'm actually a Democrat. I'm not a Republican, as I was brought up to believe.
Yeah.
So, like, my walk was very short. But even so, I cannot imagine somebody who was able to pull themselves out of that, because it was difficult enough for a dum-dum like me, who just happened to have an insatiable curiosity and a love of learning, to where I just read everything and I became hyper-focused on rabbit holes that I go down, you know?
Well, and I'll admit this too, like, I've been a liberal most of my life. You know, my family was liberal, my dad and my mom. Mm-hmm. My brother's a liberal. I mean, we were all liberal, but I grew up in small town America, and it's hard to overcome the town aspect of growing out of, you know, the mentality of church and right-wing mentalities, because it's ingrained in the society in these towns. Like, it's part of this culture. There's literally fucking Trump flags flying down our fucking street any given day on a pickup truck or outside of someone's house. We, for a while, were driving by a house that said "fuck Trump" right in front of it. Like,
no,
I mean,
didn't say fuck
or no,
Trump.
I'm sorry, fuck Biden.
Yeah.
Right in front of it. And it's like, there's, like, they don't care.
And we live in a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, and they don't care, apparently, that kids are walking down the street or whatever. They literally have no shame, no ability to censor their own words, you know?
I have to believe somebody complained about that, because it was only
did come down.
It only was up for, like, maybe 2 weeks.
Right, yeah.
So, I have to believe somebody was like, come on now, F-bomb?
Like, yeah, and it was probably somebody on their own side.
Yeah.
Like, no, this isn't okay.
Yeah.
And good, I'm glad somebody called them out on it, because that was just terrible.
Like, I cuss, don't get me wrong. I'm vulgar, I'm crass, I'm obnoxious, but I would not paint fuck anything on the front of my house.
And you wouldn't do that in a fucking elementary school either.
No.
You wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't go in front of kids and specifically just start cussing. You might let one slip occasionally on accident.
Right.
But you would try to watch your mouth and talk to kids, you know? You wouldn't, whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sorry, we're just rambling a lot tonight.
Well, we're just worked up about a lot right now.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, SCOTUS just came back in session.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which, that's got me riled up, like, oh my god, what is going to happen now? Because it's all going to be bad. It's all going to be bad.
I know. I haven't actually been following it. Like, I knew that they were coming back in session, but I hadn't been following any of what they're talking about or what they're doing.
Well, that's because we've had a reprieve from it for a few months because they've been on break. But everything coming down the pike is not good for our country.
No.
And we are going to be in such a shitstorm by the time that this is all done with that I don't think we'll even recognize the country that we're in anymore.
The only good thing I can think is that it's going to be so bad that maybe it will encourage, like, every single, even half left-leaning person to come out for the midterms.
Right.
But even at that, it's still almost too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Speaking of which, I was listening to S.E. Cupp. Are you familiar with her?
She's the kind of one that used to be right-leaning, still is right-leaning, but she's not right-leaning the way that the other right-leaning people are right-leaning.
She's more of your John McCain Republican, where
Yeah.
she's like a decent person who disagrees about policy and
right.
money. And I mean, I still disagree with her on several things, but at least you could have like a conversation with her about things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she's completely anti-Trump, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
So she's respectable in my mind. But
Sure.
what was I going to say? I was watching something. She was talking about. It was an interview she was doing with somebody, and they asked her, "Are you still a Republican?" Like,
right.
You know, you haven't really come out and said one way or the other. And I mean, she was the CNN's Republican.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, their token, right? And she went through this, like, really long, circuitous route of that basically ultimately ended up with her saying something to the effect of, I am still Republican, true to the party that used to exist.
Right.
But I cannot, in good faith, call myself a Republican, with today's party.
Right.
So I don't know what I am right now. And that, like, really shook me, because 5 years ago, S.E. Cupp never would have said something like that. It was inconceivable.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so for her to just say, I don't know what I am right now, I don't know how I'm going to vote, she sounded kind of shook.
No, I was talking to somebody today, actually, and it was actually the person that wrote the newest article on our blog, on our website, which actually, if you guys get a chance, head over to our website and check it out. It is actually really fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to say something about that in a minute.
Yeah, but definitely head over to our website and check out the newest blog post. The link for the blogs is up in the top menu area, so just check that out. But I was talking to him today, and what were we talking? We were talking about. Sorry, I got sidetracked with the blog thing there.
S.E. Cupp and what are you, Republican?
Right. Oh, man, I lost my complete train of thought there.
And he doesn't know what he is, maybe?
No.
She doesn't know what she is. And she sounded really shook over it.
Oh, no, that reminds me. Okay. So it was about how the last 10 years or so, in my mind, and it started kind of in Obama's term a little bit, but definitely with with Trump and all that. There has been more people that used to be Republican that have been forced to say, no, I'm not with that, right? And it's forced them to reevaluate their values and their stances in politics and even religion. And there's a lot of people that have left religion in the last, since Trump took office, because it's forced them to see what is happening out there and how these people actually associate their religion with this political thing that's going on.
Which is funny, because we could have told them that for years, but they were
right. But you have to discover. You have to find that on your own.
Discover it on your own. Yeah.
You cannot have somebody tell you you're wrong. If somebody walks up to you and tells you you're wrong, what's your answer?
I mean, it depends. If it's about grammar, I'll stop and listen because I need to know.
Right. Sure. But I mean, generally speaking, most people will back themselves and, get their back up about being wrong, right? I'm not wrong. Fuck you, right?
I guess, yeah.
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, yeah.
So I feel like this whole division of politics and division of our country has resulted in a lot more people leaving the church, leaving the Republican Party, for reasons of they can't associate with these people anymore.
Right. Right. The choice was made for them.
The choice was made for them. Yeah, really.
Kind of scary.
And you said you had something to interject about the blog.
Yeah, that blog post, holy shit, y'all. Seriously, it was so eye-opening and just really well written. I highly recommend it. And it was funny because husband sent it to me to edit before we posted it, and he goes, "Oh, how much change do we need to make to it?" Expecting that I was going to be dragging my feet, taking forever to get through it because I'm a slowpoke.
Right.
And I actually go, actually, there's no changes needed. That's how good it is.
Yeah, no. Well, and it was really not just grammatically, but it was really well written.
Sentence structure, everything. And then the topic on top of that.
Yeah.
It's just a really good read, you guys. Very solid.
Yep.
Go read it.
Newest blog post, just check it out. And definitely leave a comment because, I mean, he worked really hard on this blog post. And it's his first one he's put up there for us. I'd really like to see him back and doing more with us. So.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep. All right, so we've gone on, I think, long enough about all kinds of shit here. Mm-hmm. So today we finished up with...
2 Kings chapter 24.
Yeah, and tomorrow we're going to be back with...
the last chapter of 2 Kings.
Oh, that's convenient.
Right?
Yeah.
2 Kings chapter 25, and then we'll be done with 2 Kings, and we'll be entering Chronicles.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.